Welcome back to another fighter interview. I'm your host, Brandon Halley. Today I'm joined by Taylor Rodrigue, fighting out of Baan Muay Thai South in Greenville, South Carolina. He's your hometown fighter, fighting on November 16th at the Foundry in Greenville, South Carolina. Taylor, how are you doing, man?
I'm great. I'm great. How are you?
Good. So the audience isn't gonna see this, but man, I just had to like redo the intro like 3 times. So I apologize. Thank you for sticking by me, Taylor.
Oh yeah,
I
for
don't really
sure.
know what happened there. I just had like a brain fart midway through. So
All good.
cool.
Happens to the
We got it
best.
dialed in. We got it dialed in now. Taylor, tell us about your little friend that you got there, man. Tell the audience what's going on with that.
Yeah. So this is Vinny. I have a one of my things that I like is I have a bunch of animals. So we have a small zoo here. Uh, my girlfriend is least pleased with this one, but this is Vinny, my ball python, still a little baby, but growing nice and big. So he's gonna hang out with me today.
That's cool, man. So, Taylor, you and I spoke at the Conflict 65 show in Columbia just last weekend, but we didn't
hmm
get to talk about the collection of animals you have at your house. So, what's like the inspiration behind that? Are you like taking in rescues? Are you running like a sanctuary?
So it was actually kind of my coach. So my coach has always had super cool animals and a bunch of like really different ones. He's had water monitors, so like lizards that are like 6 feet long, and I always thought they were super cool. So we have two cats, and but those were like regular. So I was like, what's something that's like interesting to take care of and like fun and interesting. So then I got this one, which is how it started, and then we also got a bearded dragon. So I was just looking for something that was a little bit different to take care of, and I'll tell you, these are definitely different to take care of. So yeah, that's all we have for now. Only because that's the limit that was put on me. If it were up to me, I'd have a whole reptile zoo, but I don't think I could get away with that with the lady. So
That's cool, man. I had no idea. So, nice to meet you, Vinny. It's a pleasure
oh
meeting
yeah,
you.
oh yeah,
I don't know. I've always had an appreciation for snakes, man. I think snakes are really interesting creatures. I know like my parents are really frightened by them.
oh yeah,
I don't like bugs, but for the most part, animals I'm pretty cool with. I don't know,
oh yeah,
snakes, just like the way they look, the way they move, I think they're pretty cool. So,
oh yeah, for sure.
uh, it's cool that I get to see one on camera
Oh
too.
yeah, he's hanging out with us.
Yeah, man. Taylor. So let's get right into it, man. So Taylor Rodrigue, 13-6, an impressive
Yes,
record. You're a 20 fight veteran. You've been fighting for a long time
yes.
under Coach Mark Clem, an amazing coach, and of course you have an amazing team behind you. I know you've had a bit of a layoff the last year. I know you were taking some breaks now, but you decided to come back. What's the motivation behind this comeback, and how do you feel fighting in front of your hometown November 16th?
Oh, I'm super excited to fight in front of all my friends and family. They're a big reason of why I do this. I think one of the big reasons why I fight is to show my friends and family that you can do stuff that's hard and to help like motivate some people around me. It's very cool to do that. Um, the layoff kind of helped me rekindle a love for the sport, which I think is very important. I think you train harder and you train best when you're having fun, and I've for sure started having fun again, which is a super cool and it's good to get it back. So that time off really helped me. So I'm super excited to fight in front of all the friends and family. We'll get it done.
Is this your first time fighting in front of hometown? I mean, I know there's not like a whole many shows. Oh no, I guess you fought on one of the first SKC cars,
I
right?
was gonna say I fought in Greer, which is super close, which is,
Mhm.
maybe 15, 20 minutes away at most from my home. So I've definitely had a large crowd and a good group of people around before. So not the first time, but glad to do it again.
And of course, the Baan Muay Thai team, they show out for their fighters, man. I mean, even at the Columbia card, pretty much like half of that entire bleachers was for your coach, Coach Mark Klim. So I was surprised when I saw the announcement that he was fighting, and then I was even more surprised to see how many people were there supporting, even though it's about a 2 hour drive, an hour and a half drive from you guys. So I know you fought in Columbia with a big crowd too. So. You guys have an amazing team, amazing loyal fan base. So I'm hoping they'll show up for this one too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We have a super good team, so excited for it.
Yeah, man. Let's talk about your opponent a little bit. So November 16th, you're fighting Pierre Broomsfield. He is fighting out of Shidokan, Atlanta. So he's got a
hmm
karate style, but this is a Muay Thai bout. Um,
Yes.
What's your thoughts on his style? What adjustments do you have to make to somebody who is going to be a little bit more of that karate in and out lateral style? What's your thoughts on him?
So, I think he's a super tough guy. I saw his last fight when, when he fought Keith Tremege, and I thought he's super tough. He came to scrap, which I'm super excited about. Um, his style is a little bit different than most, Muay Thai fights that I've seen, and that I'm a part of, but we have a lot of karate trained individuals at our gym. So just for an example, my friend Ian McCraw, he can play that style for sure. The MMA coach at our gym, Cody Freeland, he's trained a bunch of karate style, kickboxers or MMA fighters or whatever the deal might be. So it's not something. It'll definitely be something that's different. I wouldn't say that it's going to be completely new to me, but it is definitely going to be an adjustment, which I'm excited for. Those are the type of things that keep you motivated. If you see the same thing over and over and over, it is what it is. But it's good to fight somebody who's got a different style, a new style that you haven't seen all the time. So I'm super excited for it.
For sure. Coming back from the little bit of layoff, you mentioned you rekindled your love with the sport again. Um, Coming back into the gym, what has been some of the more enjoyable, maybe perhaps your favorite things coming back in that you maybe didn't appreciate or you lost appreciation through the burnout or something like that in the gym? What's something that you have really enjoyed coming back to?
Yeah, for sure. I think one of the big things that I get to experience again is I am privileged to work hard. Of course everybody has dings and dents every now and then, which is going to happen. But I have the ability. There are many people that don't even have the ability to train or train hard. So, a lot of the times, especially like back, before I took my break, I'd start to feel sorry for myself. You're training, you're beat down, you're hurt, you're like, I don't really want to go to practice or whatever, which I would always force myself to. But now I really get to look at those moments where I'm tired and beat down, and I get to say, I get to do this. It's not, I have to do this or whatever the deal is. So, and I think that that's super important as a part of the journey, just to once again, it kind of ties back into getting to enjoy it all. Um, is you get the privilege to work hard. So that's one of the biggest things that whenever we're doing something crazy, I'm super excited to do it now as opposed to, I guess I'll drag my feet through this.
It's really refreshing hearing that from somebody with as many fights as you. I mean, again, will be your 20th fight.
Mhm.
Um, I have interviewed a couple of guys who have about the same or a little bit less fights as you, veteran fighters. Um, but these guys have never talked about having to take a some time off and getting that refreshing feeling. So like it's really refreshing hearing about a perspective shift
Mhm.
through some rest period
For sure.
from someone as experienced as you. So that's really refreshing to hear. And I
Yeah,
think we
for sure.
need more of that in combat sports. I think we're starting to move away from that stigma of like combat sports is for really like aggressive or mean people or guys who just want to scrap. And I mean, we do all just want to scrap, but
Oh,
there's
yeah.
also some technicality and some not so much bloodlust, but more so just love for the game kind of thing.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's refreshing to hear that. How are you taking that lesson and mentoring the other fighters at your gym?
It's definitely helped with, speaking to other people and kind of just sharing that message of, you see somebody in camp, they might be cutting weight, they might be feeling down on themselves, and I'll like, one of the things that I've been doing this camp, and I've been trying to help all my friends. One of my teammates, Chris Johnstone, he fought before, and he's actually getting ready to fight again. I mentioned to him, I'm like, just take time to do something fun, at whether it's after, it doesn't have to be in place of practice, but you get a couple hours, go do something fun. Really just take your time to like once again enjoy the moment. And whenever I see people dragging their feet, kind of reminding them like what it's about. That there are people that don't possess the ability to get to train, and they would love nothing more than to be in the gym doing what we're doing. But they don't get the ability to. So, like, just keep it in mind, take it in stride. Don't be so down on yourself. We all choose to do this at the end of the day. Nobody's twisting an arm.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. Very well said. I want to talk a little bit more about who you are, Taylor. So,
Mhm.
talk to me about your journey into martial arts and how you got into it, but also what's kept you in it for this long, and then now it's bringing you back. So, talk to me about that.
Yeah, that's a good question. I wish I had a great story. Unfortunately, I don't. Um, I think what it mostly started out as is I was like, well, this will make me look cool. You know what I'm saying? Like this will be something fun to like tell my friends that I get to do. So I went to a gym um and trained there, and it was doing what it was supposed to do. And then of course the next step was, okay, I'm gonna fight and we'll see what happens there. And I started training with my coach Mark after very early on in my journey, and the best way that I like to put it was just too dumb to quit. So, definitely I was a goober when I first started. Couldn't do push-ups, couldn't do exercises, was not tough, any of that stuff. And I think it was kind of cool to see how I grew into somebody that could handle that stuff and could overcome different adversities and all that stuff like that. And I ended up losing my first 2 fights. Um, and I remember being like, "Well, I gotta get a win." And then in my 3rd fight, I got a win, and I was like, "Oh, that was pretty cool." So then ever since then, it was just kind of, it became a part. I fell in love with having something to do, I guess you could put it. It felt like a purpose. So it was awesome to just always stay ready and, just do what I'm told. So that was kind of how it started. And as far as coming back, it was the same thing. When I took that time off, I definitely think that it was needed. I didn't want to take. I was when I had my last fight in October. The plan wasn't, hey, let's like take a bunch of time off. It was kind of just like a reflection period, and I actually would have liked to fight earlier in the year, but whatever happens happens. So um, here we are. But all that to say, the reason that I came back was I couldn't stay away. I kept getting that itch, and I kept being like, okay, well, I'm not really doing that much, like with myself. Like, what's next? So I almost felt like that purpose was gone. But now, like when I started training to help my coach Mark for his fight because he had been planning to fight for a long time. That was when I was like, okay, I remember this now. Like it was a comfortable feeling to get back into it and to try and start training hard and doing all that stuff. So tried to stay away, couldn't do it. So here we are, back at it.
And we are really excited to have you back. I'll give you like a small story of my own. You your fight against Anthony
Hmm.
back in Anthony Brown, sorry, excuse me,
Yes,
back in man,
must have been 21
21. It must be 21. Yeah, a couple
or
years
maybe
ago.
22. Yep.
It could be 21, 22. This was in Colombia, a show put on by Coach Walker out of Carolina Kickboxing Academy. Amazing guy, amazing show.
Hmm.
Anthony was my teammate. You actually finished Anthony in the first round with a knee to the liver.
Hmm.
Pretty cool. And I was like really sad for him. But then that was the moment that we were back there. We're all consoling Anthony. He felt like he let the team down. He felt like he let himself down. He's feeling bad on himself. And we're all there trying to cheer him up, and then you come over. He's like, "Hey, man, you want to take a shot real quick?" And I just thought, like, "Wow, that's so cool." And then I have a picture of you guys taking drinking out of the little alcohol bottles,
Mini
and
bottle.
that was the moment I remember leaving the PD Shrine Arena that night to my now wife, to my then fiance,
Mhm.
and we talked about. I literally looked at her and said, I think I want to fight.
Yeah.
I think this is I wanna be here. I love the excitement of it, but then I also love, like, just the community of it, like, 2 guys just fought their asses off, but they can be friends right after that, and I absolutely love that. So, little small story, like, you and Anthony we're kinda like the what do you say, kinda started that fire in me also, so
Oh yeah, for sure. It's super cool. I think one of the best parts about the martial arts community is it's a gentleman's agreement. So especially at this level, everybody knows what they're signing up for. You never want to injure somebody extensively. You want to hurt them enough to where they can't continue the fight. But as far as, you don't ever wish bad upon your opponent. And I think that that's super cool because for every fight that I've had, it's if I get the chance, I'm going to try and knock you out. And if you get the chance, I expect you to try and knock me out. But at the end of the day, like we're both there doing the same thing. If we were from the same town, we'd be in the same gym and we'd be best friends, hanging out all the time. So I think I think it's super cool that like you don't have to be some mean rah rah in your face person. I understand that it gets you the attention that you need sometimes, but for the most part, it is what it is. It's a super cool thing that you can, like you said, fight, but then after it, there's no hard feelings. Like if you would have done it to me, I would have high fived you and said, "Good job, that was awesome." So it's a cool paradox that yeah, you might be trying to hurt somebody, but you're still friends at the end of the day.
Yeah, man. Coming back into this fight, what's a big focus for you in this camp? Is it a technical thing? Is it a mental thing? Is it a more of a physical thing? What is it that you're really focusing on for this camp?
I think to answer your question, it's more of a mental thing. Like I said, staying happy throughout this camp and enjoying the process, um, for everything, including being mentally tough. Don't get me wrong. It sounds like I'm, in fairyland on clouds and stuff. I'm not. Training is very hard, um, but just staying happy and staying diligent. It's more of a mental aspect, and you know, just overcoming a lot of negative emotions that normally come along with. I'm doing a lot of things different. I feel like this is the first fight camp that I've done even sort of correctly in years, plural. So I'm super happy about that, to be honest. But it's mostly of a mental thing. We're always in shape. Technically, I haven't gotten any worse over my time off, and obviously I've been, you're always sharpening the tools and stuff like that. So it's been a lot more of a mental growth over this camp and over the past however long. So definitely a mental growth.
After this fight, what are your plans, regardless of the outcome of this fight? What are your goals looking past this fight and onwards?
So I actually had a plan to go to Thailand in December, and I was going to go for the whole month, and my plan was to fight out there. So this was going to be something to dip my toes in, kind of like get back in that realm, and then go to Thailand. Unfortunately, that plan fell through, so I have a lot of time off due to work over this winter. So I'm kind of looking to stay busy. I pretty much just do what I'm told. What generally happens is, Coach Mark comes up to me and he says, "Hey, this name, this date, this time." Do you want to do it? And I'm always like, yes, sir. And then that's kind of the end of it. And then you train and keep going. So, I'm just hoping that he comes up to me and says, "Hey, do you want to fight December, January, February, whatever the deal is?" As soon as I can. And barring some ding or dent that lingers on for a little bit longer than you want it to. But other than that, I'm hoping to stay busy, especially over these next couple of months, and then yeah, just keep going from there. Like I said, do what I'm told.
Absolutely. I think the 54 Muay Thai division, even in this our own promotion, I think is starting to get really competitive. So we love to
Oh
see
yeah.
you in the mix, challenging for the title, and then uh, again, you're kind of like a super smash, like a new fighter has appeared kind of thing. Like for you, it's like a new fighter has reappeared kind of thing. Because for a little while, I wasn't sure if you were coming back or not.
Hmm.
Because we haven't really talked at that point, so
Oh yeah.
I wasn't sure if you were coming back or not. So I love seeing that little wee wee new fighter has appeared. Like Taylor
Oh
Rodrigue's
yeah.
here now, kind of messing up the 54 division and the flow. And now a lot of now we have another really strong fighter in the mix. I'm really excited to see how you start tearing up the divisions around here again. Before I let you go, how does it feel to be able to fight in front of your home crowd? And what does it mean for the city, not just for your gym, but also for the city to be able to put on the show like this once more?
Yeah, I'm super excited to fight in front of all my friends and family. I think what's super cool is whenever it's local, it's a little bit of a hard sell to be like, "Hey, especially because we fight all over the place, whether it be Boston, I fought in Tennessee, I fought in Florida, which all of those places are a decent drive, 7+ hours or a flight. So it's obviously a little bit of a hard sell to be like, hey, come to my fight. But whenever it's in our hometown, what's always cool is I always get new people that have never seen a fight, which is super cool. Whether it be, you know, my sister brings her friends and they're all fans now of just fighting in general, not even just me, or, people from my work. So it's really cool to introduce new people to the sport because there's nothing like seeing fights live. It really is like a beautiful thing. The sounds, like you hear it on the TV, it's whatever. But then when you see somebody, get punched upside their head and you hear the like loud thud and you're, oh, that like this is real life right now. So it's definitely super cool to get all the new people, and I definitely have some people that are excited to see me fight again or have never seen me fight, and they're getting ready to come out and enjoy the show. So that's what's always super cool. So I'm super excited, to be in Greenville again, fighting again. It'll be good. A lot of new faces.
Ladies and gents, make sure you come out in person or online November 16th at the Foundry in Greenville, South Carolina. Taylor Rodrigue is coming back, and he's here to stay. Make sure you come and tune in for his fight. Of course, as your hometown fighter, make sure the hometown's got to show out. And I don't even have to say that because I already know they're going to. This interview was brought to you by Project Pantheon and Shipsco. Thank you to all of our sponsors for making this possible. We love putting on the shows, but also it's an important platform for the fighters and for someone like me who's getting into fighting, but also journalism. So thank you to all of our sponsors. And thank you to Taylor for your time today. We'll see you guys November 16th.